Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here with us on this Monday morning, July 22nd. We're looking at a big week, hopefully. Some good outdoor stuff, some good guests coming in, and some good shows lined up. So let's get started with our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and hard-working crew taking care of everyday comfort needs. High today, 88, low, getting all the way down to 79. Pretty seasonal weather. Water temperature in the pier, steady, 89 degrees. Let's take a look at our Monday moon forecast, brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. And guess what's happening tonight with the moon? Full moon tonight. Hopefully it'll be a clear skies and you get to watch it come up. That's always one of nature's beautiful scenes, a moon coming up over the bay or something, over the water or over the tree line. So if you get a chance, get in there and watch it. We're looking at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good strong tide today. High tide this morning about right in the middle of the day, about 11:15. It's going out all afternoon about 9:30 tonight. So that's a really good sign, coming in the morning and going out in the afternoon. So you pick whichever way you want to fish it. So as long as it's moving, that's good. And right in the middle of the day, it's going to be steady. So you got to go home and get you a sandwich. Our wind direction will be south-southwest at about 10 to 12. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back, folks, and welcome to our guest. Been on several times before, a regular viewer, and we always appreciate having Steve Rogers back on the show.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing this morning?
Doing great, and he's really good about giving us feedback on the show, sending us pictures, and keeping up with us, and wearing Panhandle Outdoor paraphernalia to different places. So listen, let's start. You got all kinds of stuff, but let's start. You and your wife took a good, fun trip out.
We did.
Camping.
We did.
Okay, pulling that camper. So you know how we love to talk about camping. So share that with us.
Well, we wanted to make a long trip, so we just incorporated some different things that we wanted to do and see all together, and made us about a 3-week trip, loop up through Kentucky and Ohio, Pennsylvania,
Wow.
West Virginia, New Jersey, New York State, and Virginia, and yeah, then back home.
You went to all those states.
Yes, sir. A little over 3,000 miles in 3 weeks.
And how long was the camper? How big is the camper?
28 foot.
28 foot, good size there. So
The best part of the trip was we had zero problems with the truck and zero problems with the camper. Now, it'll probably fall apart on our next trip, but we had absolutely no problems.
You know, we're talking about that pulling a camping trailer is sometimes challenging, especially on the highway.
Very true.
And was traffic okay as far as?
Most of the trip, traffic was pretty good. You learn to adapt.
You learn to have patience, and it's hard for me to do that.
Yes, you learn patience.
I lose my rhythm sometimes on the interstate. But anyway, you got some great pictures here, so here we go. Let's start with this one. That's just a fun camping picture.
Well, this one was our last trip. Just a couple of weeks ago, we went to Lake Eufaula and stayed for a week. And as you can see, my queen there and her favorite little dog are taking them a nap there one afternoon.
You got it all set up just right. Okay.
This was my relaxation. I went fishing every morning while we were there, doing some jug fishing. You can see that one standing up. That means I've got a fish on. And then in the background to the right is one that's lying there,
right there,
in wait.
Yeah. That's cool. All right, let's see.
Well, there's another shot of our campsite.
Lake Eufaula.
Yes, at Lake Eufaula there. I had some pork chops grilling on the grill for our supper that evening.
Yeah, I like how, those little grills, I always put some on top of them too. So
yes, sir.
A good way to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I bet smoke, I bet it smells good.
Oh, yeah. That's one morning's catch.
Off the jug?
Off just jug fishing. That's all I did, was did some jug fishing.
I know those.
It was challenging. The wind was blowing about 12 to 15 every day.
What do you put on there for bait? Is it a secret? You're not telling any secret, but
There's no real secret. I've normally use wigglers or earthworm if I can get them. Catawba worms are great if you can find them, which you know is next to impossible. On this trip, I had strawberry chicken.
strawberry chicken. Where'd you get that from?
Secret getting place. I had that. That's what I caught the majority of the fish on.
On the strawberry
On
chicken?
strawberry chicken.
That's
I did
interesting.
catch a few on some earthworms, but most were on strawberry chicken.
And how deep, different depths you put it?
Everything I caught was in about 20 to 22 foot of water.
Okay, so you put it all the way down?
Yes, sir.
That's interesting. I know it's exciting when that pops up like
Oh, it is. It is. It gets your blood stirring, just like when you feel a fish on your line.
Yeah.
It'll get you going.
And you just put it over there, just pull it in by hand? And,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a little stick I can reach out and
Right,
grab
yeah.
and then just pull them up by hand. Right.
That is funny. And actually, there are actually fishing guides up there doing that. aren't there?
There are, and we just learned to do it years ago, and we try and improve our technique or whatever. You learn from every trip.
So you cook
Different
some.
things.
You cook some at camp and take some home.
No, we just brought them all home. I
Did
dressed
you?
them and brought them all home. Waiting for it to cool down just a little bit. We're gonna have a big fish fry.
There you go. And just you got my phone number, right?
Yeah. We'll give you a call. You know where I live.
What? I mean, y'all was like a 2 or 3 day trip on the weekends. You stayed up there a week, or how do y'all do?
No, we were
follow?
there. We were there a week.
Okay.
I think we were there 5 or 6 days, basically a week.
Yeah.
We had another couple that were going with us, and the morning that we were to leave, I get a phone call. He says, "I've got problems with my camper. We can't make it."
Yeah.
So it was a solo trip.
Yeah, and that happens so many times.
It does.
You got to stay on top of it. That's why I have Steve talking about this kind of stuff because they do it all the time, and regular campers and go different places. So let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I'm sitting here with our fellow outdoorsman, Steve Rogers, who does a lot of fishing and a lot of camping, and hopefully be an inspiration to some of y'all to do some of these different cool things. So, well, you're talking about that trip you had, and you took all some cool pictures. So let's talk about the camping trip that where y'all looked at. So this first picture's interesting. The Staten Island Ferry, which we have a connection here with Eastern Marine, where they built some and refurbished some. So, wow, where was this?
That was in the Hudson River, at the Hudson and East River in New York City.
Whoa.
Not sure if that's one that was built here locally, but we saw it and we got all excited about them. So,
Yeah.
man, look at this. We saw them here as they were being built, so we thought, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. That is cool. And this picture here.
That one is from my backyard, looking back to the west from when we had the Northern Light here a few months ago.
That's beautiful.
You really couldn't see it with your naked eye, but once you took the photograph with your phone, I'm sorry, that's looking back to the east.
Yeah.
You could see it with your phone once you took the photograph, and
Hey,
it was beautiful.
You're away from a lot of lights and all, and you were in a good place to take it.
Yeah, we're a little bit north of Bozeman High School.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what do we have here?
This is, I saw 2 or 3 of these in New York City. It's a drinking water sampling station. I'm sure they have some sort of sampling system here around home to test the public waters. But I'd never seen anything like this. And we passed 2 or 3 of those as we were walking. And I thought, well, I don't know if I want to drink the water up here or not if they've got so many stations just out on the sidewalk to check it.
Oh, this is great.
Of course, everybody recognizes what that is.
Yes,
That's the Statue of Liberty at night.
Yep.
We
Wow.
we did a dinner cruise on the Hudson River one night.
Oh, cool.
And we
Now, where was your camper at this time?
in New Jersey. We
Okay.
were camped at a marina / RV resort on the Hudson River
Okay.
in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Oh, my, they have a campground up there?
If you could call it a campground, it was a concrete slab with gravel drives, but they did have all the hookups and necessities we needed. We could walk right out there, step right out of the front door of the camper, and look to my right about a quarter, maybe a little less than a quarter of a mile, and I was looking at Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty.
Oh my goodness.
Straight across from me was New York City.
Wow. Yeah, speaking of New York City.
Yeah, that's New York City.
Holy cow.
That's from the Empire State Building. Looking back, I guess that would be south, maybe southeast.
You didn't run across any tackle stores or sporting goods stores in there?
No, sir, but I can tell you there's a Dunkin' Donuts on every street corner there.
No kidding.
To the river you see to the right is the Hudson River, and on the right of it is New Jersey. Yeah. And down toward, you see the little islands there, that's Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. And just to the right of that is where we were camped at.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow.
It was pretty windy up there too.
And here we go.
Yeah, that's on the corner of 23rd Street and 5th Avenue in New York City.
With a Panhandle outdoor cap on.
Yes, sir. It was mist and rain, and I was hungry, and we passed a hot dog stand, and I told Beth, I said, got to have a New York hot dog.
Well, how did it taste?
It was pretty good.
I've always heard it was
pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could eat one every day, but it was pretty good. It was cheap too.
Really?
It was very reasonable. I got a hot dog and a drink for, I think it was $5 or $6.
Okay.
So hot dog loaded, anything you wanted on it. No extra charge for the condiments.
Was that a little stand there? Or?
It was a little street stand.
Okay. All right, and this picture here.
This was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. This is the location, I'm a history buff. This is the location where President Abraham Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address.
Cool.
It was from the knoll of this little hill, and they built this monument there.
That's cool. Let's see, and then we got one more here. This is recent, right?
Yes, sir. This is about a month ago. This is 3 of my grandsons, Jeremy on the left, Logan in the middle, and Jarrett on the right. That's from a camping trip they did with their dad and mom, my son and daughter-in-law, at Lake Eufaula.
Okay.
And they caught their share of fish too.
Same kind of fishing?
Same kind of fishing. Same kind of fishing, jug fishing. Yep.
Exciting deal. You, getting back to the trip and all, you were talking about how beautiful some of the states were, the greenery and all.
Yes, sir. I was just floored by how the state of Pennsylvania was so beautiful. Now traveling through, we were mostly interstate, but we did get off some of the side roads and like going to Gettysburg and all. Of course, a lot of Amish country there. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. But the pastures and all the yards that we saw, like I told you earlier, you could take the most beautiful lawn that you've seen here, multiply that by 10, that's what everything there looked like.
Wow.
Just so lush and green. Some of the most beautiful country I've seen.
I've heard how pretty it was in that part.
Yes, sir. It was beautiful. We found some of the Amish communities and drove through those. Very pretty.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
I guess you saw some good crops and.
Well, it was still early to plant the crops.
Okay.
It was still basically wintertime there, but it was a sight that I'd never seen, and we're planning on going back.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Okay, we have all kind of stuff, but I'm so glad you enjoy camping. What do you got coming up camping? This is.
We've got a big trip to Lake Martin. North Alabama in September.
Okay.
We'll be there for 7 days. We've got, as of right now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 other couples going with us.
Awesome.
4 or 5 other couples. So.
Make sure they check their camper ahead of time. Make sure
That's right.
But anyway, you're talking about, I asked what happened to your friend's camper and what it was, and I've had some of the same problems. The slide out sometimes, it gets caught.
It'll get hung, a gear will break, strip out something.
Yeah, so if you're like us, you have those slide out campers, something you just got to stay on top of, and at times you have to take it, you can't fix it yourself.
No, it's a lot of maintenance to one. You have to stay on top of things.
There it is. Well, I know you brought all kind of some fishing tackle. We'll
Yes,
also
sir.
talk about jug fishing. And before, let's go and take a break now. We'll come back with all kinds of stuff lined up. So let's go and take our break now. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And before we get back with Steve Rogers, let's take a look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. Our times, 12:41 to 2:41 this morning, and 1:09 to 3:09 this afternoon. And do you notice any difference in when you're doing jug fishing, Steve? Do you notice any particular time of day they're biting, or is it pretty steady, or how do you? What's your take on that?
Well, this last trip, it really varied. Most of my bites came early in the morning.
Early in the morning.
Early in the
Get out
morning.
there looking around.
Get out there right after day and fish till it got hot.
Yeah.
And then they'd slack off, and no sense in
Well,
staying with it then.
Historically, we set out the bush hooks and trot lines overnight. All that kind of stuff. But anyway, with jug, you brought something. Let's talk about this. This is interesting.
This is the one that I've rigged up. It's just a piece of PVC pipe about 18 inches long, a pool noodle on it, and then I've got some heavy cordage there, and then my line is tied to that with a swivel and a small weight, little hook, circle hook,
Yeah.
bait it up, throw it out.
Okay, tell us the color combination. This is cool.
Yeah, now I've got some rigged for shallower, more shallow water, and then some for deep water. This one's one of my deep water ones. I've got different greens are my deep water,
Okay.
and I've got some orange ones for shallower waters. This one actually is for about 15 feet. I've got them all the way up to about 25 feet
Cool.
depths. It'll lie horizontal in the water, and as one bites, then as you saw in one of the photographs, it'll stand up. But to help that, I've got a little weight inside that
Okay.
you can hear it. Make sure your weight's at the foam end, and then when you get a bite, it'll help. It'll tip it up, and it'll stand up and bob in the water.
What a cool fishing tip. I hadn't thought about that. That makes a lot of sense.
You can actually, on a quiet morning, if they're not too far from, or a quiet day, if they're not too far from you, you'll hear that click, and you can look. So let go one there, go chase it down.
The old ice fishermen up north, they had that little flag that would stick up right there. It's the same principle.
Same thing.
Cool stuff. Okay, so anyway, let's see. You tell us about this old tackle box you found. I love old tackle.
I'm like you. I love old tackle and things. The history of fishing. So, a good friend of mine gave me a couple of old tackle boxes. One being his dad's, and I knew his dad, Mr. Fred Harrison, and his dad Hubert Harrison. And some of these old baits come out of some of the tackle boxes that he gave me. A few weeks ago, you had a guest that was talking about jitterbugs. And I remembered, hey, there's some old jitterbugs in those tackle boxes. So I went and dug them out. And this one's a large one, but it's one that I've never seen just like this. It has 4 hooks, 2 out the side, 1 out of the bottom, and one out of the bottom on the back, 1 midriff, and 2 out of the sides.
That's interesting. I haven't seen many jitterbugs like that.
I've never seen one this way.
Yeah.
I've never seen one really that big. They're a little smaller.
They're looking for the big fish.
This one has no markings on it, but I think this one's a homemade jitterbug. I have not seen any markings on it.
Usually it's on the lip.
You can. There's nothing on the lip, so I think this one may be homemade. You can see the paints. Ow, the hooks are sharp. You can see the paint starting to flake off of that one. This is, I don't know what this one's called. There's no markings on it. It's got a blade sort of like a chatterbait, but a buzz bait as well.
What's the name on there? Can you see? Can you read anything on there? Or is that
It's just the seam. It's the seam. That's a foam, a rubber body like a frog with a treble hook. But I'd never seen anything like this before.
Wow.
So I thought
that'll aggravate them.
Oh yeah. May aggravate the fishermen too. Your guest recently also had mentioned about a Hawaiian wiggler, and there's a.
That's neat.
I don't know if you can see it any better there. Hawaiian wiggler there with it was still in the box, matter of fact, and it came with a trailer hook that you could hook to it.
Cool.
To.
And the old tackle box.
Yeah, we got. Here's I've never seen a tackle box just quite like
Up
this.
here with the hole.
This top tray.
That's interesting.
There we go.
There you go. It's got like
You can slide your baits in and out without them tangling.
that's interesting.
So I've never seen. I've seen all kind of different boxes and bags, but I've never seen one quite like this.
That's very interesting.
I thought that was pretty neat. You don't see metal tackle boxes much anymore either. It was you don't see the corks much anymore. They're not made out of cork. They're foam or some similarity. These are even the old Columbia corks, 35 cents. Still got the original tape on it and the string through the middle of it. So.
I found over all the years, Steve, that when we found Gillard, I found these old tackle boxes like that in different ways given to us, so we found them, whatever. I'd always look in it and I always reflect back to the man that fished it and all.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a
Yeah.
theme to it, and I mentioned to it a while ago, as to how they enjoyed fishing, what color. You could always see what color. This particular one, they like that dark color.
Fish dark colors.
Mr.
Yeah.
Harrison?
Yep. Must have fished dark colors,
You
yeah.
like to fish dark colors.
Yep.
Some have all kind of rainbows and different
Right.
colors, but I always have an appreciation of that.
Oh, yeah.
That's good he preserved it. And,
I'm like, yeah, and one of the tackle boxes that was Mr. Harrison's, I know, was his brim fishing tackle box. Still got the little tools, little pliers, little pocket knife, and all that were still in it. And I've just left them there,
good for you.
for Mr. Hubert. So
that's great.
I'm like you, I'm always looking everywhere I go to see if I can see some old tackle or an old reels. I've got several old reels.
Yeah, and a tackle
And old
box,
rods.
it'll tell a story of that.
Oh, they will.
It'll tell a story. We have Kel's dad is still in a box, in a shadow box.
Right.
With all and that's good stuff. That's our heritage. That's our history.
It is.
I appreciate you preserving it.
I've got one at home that I meant to bring this morning, and I just walked right out and left it.
Well, we have to bring it next time because we're about to run out of time again. We haven't even had a chance to talk about rod wrapping.
No,
Next time
we
you
hadn't.
come on, we'll talk about rod
There we
wrapping.
go.
Thanks, Steve,
That'll
for
work.
coming on. Folks, y'all have a great day today. Do something good for someone else. Enjoy the outdoors, take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.